Hello, what's up, everybody?
Hey, everybody.
We are back with the Weekly Geekly. That's it. I'm not going to do all the whole names. Or
That's
whatever.
it.
It is the Weekly Geekly. It's a live stream that we do where we talk about a lot of our favorite shows and geek stuff from the week. I'm actually going to do a pop-out chat now. I forgot to do that before the stream because I'm totally professional. There we go. Pop that chat out. All right. So I am joined this week again with the co-host of the podcast here. We have Syberninja to my left.
I'm back. I just keep coming. You can't get rid of me yet. Can't get rid of me yet.
We have Omega down below, chilling. Wakanda forever. So how's everybody's week been before we get into our topics? What's going on with everybody? Go ahead. You want to start, Cyber? Like what geeky stuff have you been doing this week? Have you watched any new shows?
I mean, we watched The Mandalorian to catch up on that. Watched I don't know if the chat has already seen them or not, but I was watching The Umbrella Academy with Dizzy. We're still watching the first season. I think we watched episode 4 or 5, and we're still trying to catch up on the Witcher series. But yeah. I mean, I'm trying to remember what else I did this week. A lot of doctor's appointments.
Yeah.
I streamed.
I actually can't believe that you guys have not watched.
We did the Marvel tournament. We did the Marvel Knockout tournament yesterday in Fortnite. Cool. So
yeah.
That's geekly. Right?
Yeah, I'm actually surprised you haven't done Umbrella Academy yet. That's a little weird.
Yeah, well, I think she watched the first season or at least most of it, and then she wanted me to watch it, and we just never had time to watch it, and there was always a different show to watch, and so we're watching it now. And
what do you think of it so far? Like non-spoilery.
I like it. It's not a oh my god what happens next episode good, but I'm enjoying it as I'm watching it. Maybe it'll change later.
I will say that season 2 is definitely like I think the short seasons like we have with streaming shows or whatever. I think a lot of times we take a long time to get to certain points. And I feel like Umbrella Academy has a really strong season 2. I love season 1, but I think season 2 is definitely where it really starts to shine a bit. And the lore, you get the background and everything. So anyway, stay vigilant. It gets really, really good. What about you, Omega? What have you been doing this week?
Just been playing a lot of Phantastar Online 2 some more. I actually got a new book here in the mail, Compendium of the Emerald Tablets. A lot of esoteric occult type stuff. I'm really into that type of thing. And what else I've been doing? Oh yeah, I've been watching, pretty much binging The Mandalorian since I've gotten Disney Plus like within the last week, and I just signed up for CBS
Yeah, it's going to change. CBS All Access is going to become Paramount Plus in January.
The names, they just keep changing.
Well, the thing is, Paramount Plus is going to offer like the entire library of Paramount movies, so it might make it a bit more.
Care. I'm just doing that just to watch Discovery, just to get my own opinion to see how it is. So
a lot of people watch this Discovery and then they just cancel till the next season comes out. And that's the way a lot of people have been doing it. So, because there's really not a lot on there if you're into sci-fi other than Star Trek content. And if you've seen a lot of it, you don't really have a reason to keep the service. So,
really so.
It's pretty interesting.
Just to form my own opinion on it.
Any games in your week? Anything you've been playing?
Just a lot of PSO2. I logged back into 14 again after like 7 months.
Did you? I missed you on there. I was on there last night.
I think I got like to the last 3 days of the free trial, and I just haven't renewed. I might renew, I guess.
Well, I am still doing content on there, so if you want to renew, we can team up and do some stuff. There's a few, like the new zone, Bozjan, Bozjan or whatever. It's really cool. It's like, did you ever do Eureka at all?
Yeah, I did Eureka.
Okay, so this is the better version. Like this is the way it should have been. It's an instant zone with open world dungeons in it, and the fates are better and the battles are better. But it took them like all of Eureka to get to that. So
Dad had been playing Phasmophobia with this guy.
Yeah, didn't they release an update for that recently?
Yeah, they released a couple updates and stuff.
There's so much cool stuff in that game, man. I absolutely love that game. It's one guy. Literally one guy is doing this. So unfortunately, the updates are very slim, and when they are, they're small. But this one was actually a pretty good update. It was pretty good.
So
we stream it all the time.
I should definitely try it out though.
You should. We should stream that.
Yes,
Oh my god.
yes.
We should
So
stream
a bit
that.
of information from Tom here. Umbrella Academy's already been renewed for season 3, so that's good. So you'll definitely not get left on a cliffhanger there, which is always a pain.
Oh, I mean, like I said, I don't dislike it. It's pretty
Okay. Before we get into our first topic, we have a super chat here from Geek Information, also a Team Eric supporter. Thank you so much. He goes, just want to show support and want to hear your thoughts on the Painkiller spinoff that's of Black Lightning. Whenever you want to throw it in there. So I'll go ahead and talk about it now because I don't think either of you guys are caught up on that series. So
So I thought the series was, when it came out, was actually super good because it was so different than the other shows that were on CW at the time.
Mhm. But
a lot of people that I've talked to about the CW shows, I started to fall off of keeping up with the shows when Black Lightning came out. So I'm behind on Black Lightning. I did catch up a little bit when it was doing the Crisis event, and I really like the show.
I will
I'm
say
excited,
this though,
but
all the music that we grew up on, the stuff that we really, really love, is used in that show. So when you're watching it, you're probably going to be like me, and you're going to be like, "Oh, I know that song," or "I know that song." Like everything on it is very.
I thought that it was actually written very well. I was very confused as to what was going on for Crisis, but that was kind of, I guess, the point.
Yeah.
But I liked it. There's so many shows, man. There's so many shows.
Yeah, no, I totally get it. Like right now,
Good
like
show,
I have so many things in my list of stuff to watch, and it's weird because we've had all this time with to watch stuff, and I'm still catching up. I feel like with the next couple of months before all the new stuff starts to come out again, we have time to finally catch up on everything. So what he's saying here though is Painkiller is a character on the series who started out as a non-superhero. And through the course of the show, the 3 seasons or whatever, ended up becoming enhanced like a super soldier. So he's like a Captain America / like it's almost bio and mechanical. So he's like basically a super soldier, but he's also got like implants that allow him to do things and face off against metahumans. And he was a bad guy because he was being manipulated by an organization. And then eventually he goes on to sort of, I don't want to say redeem himself, but to sort of shift things around or whatever. Anyway, CW is launching a backdoor pilot for this, which I think is great because I love the character. I don't know how well he's going to do on a show by himself because there's a lot of characters on shows that do really well with the show that they're in, but then don't always do well outside of that show. So I'm excited about that. But this is interesting because I think this means for sure that Green Arrow and the Canaries show is pretty much not a thing because they don't have a lot of room left for CW shows. I know a lot of people are looking for Green Arrow and the Canaries. I will take a Painkiller show over that abomination of this future Green Arrow that never really worked for me. And I know Omega, you didn't really watch the show, but
nah.
I know Cyber was a huge Arrow fan, and he probably
absolutely
if he agrees with me that season was kind of tarnished by that. So
really,
yeah, the last season of Arrow,
definitely. They focused way too hard on trying to promote the next chapter instead of ending the chapters, in my opinion.
Yeah. So basically, though, and I want to clear this up. They have not ordered a series for the show. It's a backdoor pilot, which means an episode of Black Lightning will be dedicated to setting up the spinoff for Painkiller. So if you want to see that show, and I say this from experience, we've seen it over the years. If you want to see that spinoff, you have to support that episode because that's how they're going to gauge whether or not they want to make it.
That is exactly how they're going to gauge it. Yep.
So there we go. All right. So we're going to jump into the first topic, which is the possible or not possible, the spinoff series for the Suicide Squad movie that's being made by James Gunn. And this is the movie is a pseudo sequel to the original Suicide Squad because it is going to carry over some of the elements, but it's like not a reboot, but sort of a reimagining of what that world is. And John Cena is playing a character in the film called Peacemaker, which I see Omega. You're already like you're making faces down there. How do you feel about this? Before I go any further, what are your thoughts on this?
Those are my thoughts.
So you don't think John Cena's a very good actor?
No, he's not a good actor.
So I mean, I like him in the ring, but
I don't like him in the ring either. I'm not a John Cena hater, but 5 moves of doom, people. That's all he does.
So
I will say this.
Yeah, go ahead.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
No, you go ahead because I'm going to.
I was just going to say the only thing I've seen from this was the roll call trailer. right? I'm losing my voice, and you don't get anything from it, but from the looks, it's James Gunn, right? So are we thinking it's going to be out there like comedic?
Oh,
Or
absolutely.
is this
Yeah.
so?
It
If
has
that's
to
the
be.
case,
Everything that James Gunn does, if you look back at everything, including like way back when he first started, it's been this sort of dark comedy edge to everything. So
what I would say is I'm not going to be against it until I see footage of it.
mhm.
Just hearing John Cena pushes me off, just because anytime he's in a film, I automatically think of it as a comedy role, no matter how
Mhm.
serious he tries to be.
Yeah.
So if that's what this is going to be, I'm not against it. I am curious to see how the whole Suicide Squad movie is going to be.
Yeah.
Sort of off topic, just because
Go
I
ahead.
don't know how this works with some of the actors being from the original. Are they gonna? Is it referenced? Is it? I haven't read. Is it supposed to be like?
We don't know yet. Like the
I
specifics
don't
of
know.
it.
I know
Yeah.
nothing. So I'm kind of like, yay. I don't know. I'm gonna go see it, of course, but
So yeah,
I'm
so
not like, oh my god, I can't wait, guys.
I mean, it's hard to
yet.
even take it seriously. Look at the costume. It's hard to even take this character
That's
seriously.
that's
to be
what I'm
completely
saying.
honest.
So
So the thing is, the reason why I think this is kind of a big deal for me now, and I'm going to pull this character up. So one of the characters they were announced to add to the series is a character called Vigilante. Now, are you guys familiar with this character at all? Like, do you know anything about
the
this
one from
character?
Arrow.
That's where I'm going with this. Yes, that same character from Arrow, but yeah, I mean, he was on Arrow in a really bad storyline that kind of ruined the character a bit.
Yeah, because like he was
Um,
actually pretty cool to start, and then they like. I'm trying to remember if it's the same person. But yeah, I'm trying to remember. I don't know why I'm drawing a blank, but it was like the next time you saw him, it was like a completely different like written character, right? Like, am I right? Am I remember that right?
So yeah, so Vigilante was a character that we thought was going to go in a certain direction, and then they ended up making him another character to fill in a
it-
storyline for Dinah Drake, which
ended
felt-
up being Adrian. What was his name? Right?
no. This was
I'm completely lost.
okay. So on Arrow, spoiler alert,
Chad, help me.
Vigilante was introduced as a mystery character for us, and then it went on for.
And
a
he
long
only
time.
showed up a couple times, right?
Yes, and then he became a bigger character, and it ends up
Am
that
I drawing a
some
blank?
weird way, Dinah Drake, the second Black Canary, the one who was in the police department or whatever,
Prometheus,
this was
yes.
her partner, and that was the whole thing, and she was romantically interested in him, and it ended up being the most forced plot ever.
Oh, that's
on
right. And then he
Arrow.
died.
Yes.
Yeah. Spoiler. He's dead.
No, I said spoiler. Yeah.
Yes,
yeah.
he's gone. He's on the
Yes.
show.
So
Adrian Chase was awesome, by the way. Prometheus.
yes, and a lot of people thought he was going to be Vigilante, which, by the way, I loved his character, even though he went on and was somebody completely different. I would have been okay with him being Vigilante as well, as long as he would have been the same kind of character. I would have been okay with it. But
Yeah, that's what Animizer's right. I'm sorry. I'm just talking.
Yeah, I was saying, like, I was about to say, this character looks familiar. I've probably seen it in passing, but I'm not that really familiar with DC.
I mean, his name is Vigilante.
Yeah,
Like,
just that.
I mean, come on, seriously.
That's top tier, though. No,
So the
yeah,
thing
I
is-
actually thought the character was there, but go ahead.
He is a very cool looking character, and I think there is
Yeah.
potential in it. But it's like it's such a weird. Like, I guess it's going to be cool because then he has the potential to be involved in the movies. Because the one thing about these shows that are on HBO Max is they are directly connected to the movies, like the Disney Plus shows are going to be directly connected to the Marvel films. So we're getting this sort of weird connection, which would go off on another topic completely. Honestly, we'll drop this down here and just talk about this for a moment.
Yes, he looks like a blue kick ass.
Yes, pretty much. What's going to happen when the streaming services, like, because you can buy movies on Blu-ray and DVD, right? You can buy them, or you can download them on your computer or whatever. If these shows are meant to tie into the movies, are we going to get like a DVD or Blu-ray set of these
Where it's like
series?
all together.
Because if you think about it, with the streaming services in, then you're missing a chunk of you're missing a chunk of the
There's a mic there.
of the story. Yeah, you're missing a chunk of the story. If the shows disappear, because WandaVision apparently is going to be, and we're going to talk about that in a bit. It's apparently going to be a big part of the MCU. So just in general, the idea of the streaming services and these, in these connections they could be good or they could be awful. I mean, look at what happened with the Netflix shows. I mean, So chat, let us know. And if you're watching this on playback in the comment section, are you excited for this Peacemaker, James Gunn, John Cena show?
So weird to announce a spinoff when the movie hasn't even come out yet. You know? That just screams, we have John Cena, let's do something with him.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. Yes. It would be the same as like if Will Smith had agreed to do like a TV series for the first Suicide Squad. Would have been the same thing.
No, speaking of Will Smith, I just want them to do another Bright. Please do another Bright.
Yo, I heard that was actually pretty good.
It actually had mixed reviews when it first came out, but I enjoyed it.
Just me being a huge Shadowrun nerd, I just loved that entire thing.
Yeah,
even if it was corny, but I still loved it.
So yeah, look, see Maltor here. So if you don't have Disney Plus, you're gonna miss a big part of the Doctor Strange 2 movie. I mean, possibly. So.
Yeah, because apparently this is we'll get into it.
Yeah, Pagey here flexing on us. If you got a PS5, Dab if you got an Xbox Series 1, floss if you got neither.
Weird flex, right?
There's a flex.
That I feel like that's a flex because he's probably flossing.
I have a feeling that that's funny
right now.
I have a feeling that Pagey is actually blowing vape smoke through his Xbox to make it look like it's on fire.
I still haven't connected this thing. Shows how much I play console.
Oh my gosh. All right. So let's move on and talk about we'll talk about the Mandalorian if you guys are caught up on it here. We've got the first episode. We're going to talk about both. So that's why I'm starting so early on this because there's a lot to talk about.
It's not the Black Saber though.
No, not at all. So after watching the first season, because Omega, you are just now catching up, right?
Yes, I am catching up. Yeah, I just caught up like last week.
It's been so realistically, he's probably more remembers more of what happened than I do, just because he's seen everything so soon.
I remember how season 1 ended, but I don't remember all the details of season 1.
Season 1, season 1 pretty much ended with them being caught in that bar.
That was a great scene, by the way. That whole scene.
Well, then Moff Gus crashes his TIE fighter. It just breaks out with the Black Saber. I was like, oh.
Yeah. So what are your thoughts on going from binging all of season 1 into, because this is where people say they're having issues with it, that it doesn't line up in a way that makes it feel like it's the next chapter. Do you feel like it was a good jump from the end of season 1 to the beginning?
Yeah, it makes it seem like a little bit of time has passed, and it's kind of like Xena and Hercules back in the day, like Monster of the Week type of action, TV action show.
Yeah, so
I completely dug it.
One of the things that I've seen people defending the show on is that they say that the show is supposed to be, and I kind of agree with this, they're all supposed to be mini movies each week.
Yeah.
Like there is one story that kind of goes through everything, but each episode is supposed to feel like it has a start and an ending to it, so that you get a contained story in every episode.
Yes, like in Hercules.
So do you feel that do either of you feel that the show, even with season 1 coming into season 2, do you think they achieved that with each episode? Do you feel that they've achieved that?
Yes.
That whole concept.
I think so, yeah. I really don't. I have very few complaints. I have like a few minor nitpicks here and there, but overall, I am really digging the series as a whole.
So, in season 1, I was hooked on episode 1. Like, I like Star Wars. I'm a fan of Star Wars. I'm not like a huge lore buff in terms. I don't know everything about Star Wars, but I do like Star Wars. Seen all the films, keep up with the shows, watch the animated series. This hooked me. I loved it. And like 3 or 4 episodes in of the first season, actually it might have been like the 5th episode, I was like, nothing's happening. Every episode is, like you said, it's kind of a self-contained episode where
you're talking about season 1,
happens.
right?
Yeah, season 1.
Okay.
And then when it got to the end and everything came back together, they literally referenced everything that I can remember at the time. And I was watching the episode and I'm like, this is great. I can't wait for more. And then season 2 happened. And the first episode to me, there was only one part I had a problem with, just one. But I thought that the entire episode was fantastic. And 2 to me, A lot of people said it was a filler episode. We'll get into it. But they said it was a filler episode. I kind of agree with that, but at the same time, I felt that it was okay. I really didn't dislike the episode at all.
So overall, you guys feel like the show has fulfilled what its vision is each time it airs. Like, because not all episodes are the same length. Some episodes are 35 minutes. Some episodes are 60 minutes. They're not even the same length sometimes.
Yeah.
So.
It's just long enough to tell a story. Yeah, it's just long enough just to tell a story.
But I think that's the thing is Disney has made they've made it clear that when it comes to the shows on their service, they're going to let the episodes speak for themselves. Like they're going to let the creative vision take however long it takes. So an episode could be longer than an hour if they want. It just has to fit within the context of their.
I was about to say there was another series that kind of is doing the same thing, The Witcher. It's kind of told like, but The Witcher's kind of told like. The first episode is more like the last almost. It's kind of told backwards. And then like once you get to the final episode, it's more like it's the third. It's weird the way they do it, but it's more or less the same type of thing.
Right. John Snow rules here with the $5 super chat. He goes, I bet you my Disney Plus account flash comes out. Also, Favreau said in an interview, the stakes are higher in Mando season 2 when compared to season 1. There we go. That's for you, Cyber, because you're the one who says that movie's
not happening, guys. It's not happening.
She's McQueen.
Happening. Said interview, the stakes are higher in Mando season 2 compared to season 1. I mean, I would. I mean, I would agree with that.
Well,
Flash movie. We're done here. It's not happening.
Yeah,
it's not happening.
So let's talk about the premiere of season 2 because we didn't have a chance to talk about it before. But now, each week, guys, we will talk about the Mandalorian each week before it airs the new episode. So expect that as part of the chat. So the first episode, we came back in and it was basically like a Western. I feel like the first episode was a space Western.
Yep, 100%.
The town, the design, everything really did feel like, John Wayne or, Clint Eastwood or something like that.
Yeah.
And we see, and I knew right away when quote unquote Boba Fett was standing at the door, that was not Boba Fett.
I was like, wait, Boba? No, that can't be Boba.
But at the same time, it wasn't took the helmet off, obviously. But when that happened, it's like, what? Easter eggs. I love Easter eggs. It's so cool because if you didn't know that, which
they even mentioned it earlier. Yeah, they even mentioned like earlier in the series, like Mandalorians do not take their helmets off.
Right.
Ever.
Right.
Well, when he ordered, when he said let's have a drink, I was like,
maybe he's going to tell the bartender to get out or something.
Or give me a straw. I don't know, like something like what? How would you have done that? It's so weird.
Because they can see each other, but no one else can.
Right. So
yeah, but it was so I was super hyped to see that. Yeah. Like I knew it wasn't him, but the fact that he had the armor is like, are they gonna say where? Like I was curious to see where they went with it. I was so happy about that.
So outside of that though, we had a Tremors vibe in this episode of like it totally took me back to that movie Tremors when like I was like, there's something under the sand. Yeah. So I've seen pictures before this episode of crate dragons, but they took a different approach to the design of it.
Crate dragons usually actually that whole scene they took out off Knights of the Republic that was on the original Xbox and early PC back in the day. Back then they looked like giant Komodo dragons. So this one it looks like a giant there's an actual it looks like a lindworm.
Right. Yeah.
You know what a lindworm is.
What's up? Yeah, I do know what it is. Hello, Ben. DC TV shows in the house. Thank you so much.
I would say because I don't know what the crate dragon looks like. Again, I don't know.
What did you think of the design then? I mean, if you're not without,
I liked it. I thought it was actually pretty cool. I thought it was awesome. My problem, with the episode was the plan. Unless he knew that he was going to survive being chomped on by Mr. Crate Dragon, was that he told someone else to take care of the kid. That wasn't his mission. His mission was already laid out. Like he was just going to take the armor from the guy. So for him to do that felt really out of character in my opinion. And I didn't like that part of the episode. That's it though. I liked everything else. I did not like that unless he knew, hey, I'm going to survive this, get away. In which case, why would he tell him to take care of the kid?
Yeah.
That dude didn't know where the kid was supposed to go.
I don't even think that at that point he was thinking about that, but I'm not saying it excuses it, but I just don't think that was even going through his head when that happened.
Yeah, no, that I didn't like it. Didn't like it.
So here it says Thomas goes, who's the actor who actually plays Boba Fett at the end? Is he famous? It's the one who played Django in the prequel.
Yeah.
But I don't remember his actual name. I don't think I've seen him in anything else.
Actor played. Let me look this up.
Look it up. Get that going for us. So the return of the child or Baby Yoda was very much welcomed. I feel like at least for me, because a lot of people say the first season became the season of Yoda, opposed to like the Mandalorian. I feel like already, and we'll get to the second episode here in a moment. I feel like the show has a better balance of the characters in these first two episodes. It just feels more like it is a Mandalorian show now, opposed to kind of figuring out what they wanted to do in the first season. And I don't know if that was intentional or if they just took a conscious effort to go, hey, we want to do more Mandalorian stuff in the season 2 of the Mandalorian. I love his armor. I think the armor looks amazing on screen. And do you think we're going to get a moment this season where the helmet comes off? Do you think that's going to happen or not?
Oh yeah, I mean, I think that's going to happen.
Yeah, they already took it. Actually, you already took his helmet
right.
off.
I think it'll happen. I thought that the acid from the crate dragon was actually going to tarnish the armor, so it started to have battle scars. But towards the end of episode 2, it looked like, with the ice and stuff on it, it was cool. But it looks like it's cleaned up.
There's some actual cool tidbits here at the bottom of this article. Let's see. That's someone. Is it Tamira Morrison? Is that the guy's name? The New Zealand actor who played the role of Jango Fett.
Yeah, I thought she was talking about the original Boba Fett. I was like, no, he's way too old. But yeah, it was the guy who played young Boba Fett in episode 2.
Yeah, it says the Marshal here uses the term Sand People to refer to the Tuskens, and the term is almost entirely as a pejorative in the episode, though Mando does use it once he is talking to the Marshal. This appears to be a bit of pragmatic code switching to get the Marshal on his side. However, Sand People sounds otherwise like a slur. I would agree with that. Yeah. I think that probably is true. The graffiti in the opening scenes contains familiar images, including what appears to be C-3PO and a stormtrooper. This was another thing I noticed. Another familiar droid making an appearance, R5-D4. That's the droid that Luke initially wanted instead of R2-D2 that he would have taken if he hadn't blown a fuse or something. Apparently R5 didn't just survive. He found a home. And it goes, there's something about promo picture. The red scarf he wears a resemblance to John Wayne. Mm-hmm. And this mentions right here, I didn't even see this, was often played like a Western, but this episode was one of the most Western-inspired themes yet. Mm-hmm. And I will say also, special effects are absolutely amazing on the series.
Oh yeah. No, I'm loving the series so far. I think it is the best thing on Disney Plus right now.
Yeah. Speaking of the, I'm just going into Star Wars nerd here. Speaking of the Sand People, once again in Knights of KOTOR, Knights of Republic, if you want to know more Sand People lore, like Tusken Raider, Sand People, whatever, more of their lore, play that game. There's a certain part of the day they go over their entire history. It is so good.
Yeah. Let's see. You guys are supposed to be mods. Did it not give it to you?
Oh, I don't know.
Oh wait, I'm a mod. Everybody ban.
Yeah.
Ban them all.
So let's go ahead and talk about the second episode. And this is the one that gets it's kind of getting, I don't know, people aren't giving it the best praise, I guess. This is the one with the frog lady and the trip. It's called The Passenger. And so, the way it's set up is that the frog lady needs to get her eggs to fertilization by her, I guess her husband or whatever. And so they have to transport it, but there's no hyperdrive because of the fact that it would kill the embryos. So they have to do everything at, I guess, just normal speed.
Yeah, sublight speed.
Yeah. That's the basis of the episode. And there's giant ice spiders in this episode, which were absolutely frightening and
terrifying.
All kinds of crazy stuff.
They just fold over like an alien.
Yeah. And one of the X-Wing pilots is the main character on a show called Kim's Convenience.
I thought one
Netflix.
I thought one of the pilots was like one of the directors or like producers or something.
No, it might be, but one of the two is definitely one of my favorite shows. Kim's Convenience. So funny. Cannot give it enough praise. Go check it out on Netflix. It's got like 4 seasons and they got renewed for another 3. So it's really, really good. But anyway, so yeah, a lot of people are saying this episode is a filler episode. And again, I go back to saying that I feel as if all of the episodes could technically be filler if you look back at them. Like there's very few that are 100% based on the full plot of the series. So I don't think that's a bad thing. It really comes down to what you enjoy. The director of this episode was the director of the Ant-Man.
So it was Dave Filoni. The other pilot was Dave Filoni.
Okay. So the director of the Ant-Man films is the one that directed this episode. Which it doesn't seem odd because Disney loves to like move their talent around from place to place.
That makes sense.
But I will say again, special effects were fantastic. It looks like a lot of money was spent on this episode in terms of like that. Overall, what did you guys think of this one? What are your thoughts on the second episode?
I thought it was cool. I mean, yeah, it was filler, but who cares? It was fun filler. I especially like how he was just bullseye each one of the spiders, but there's like a billion of them, so he can't bullseye each one.
Baby Yoda ate the eggs.
I know that seems to be a point of contention with a lot of people.
Well, Baby Yoda is also a toddler.
He's 50.
In Yoda's species, that is
50.
A toddler. That is a toddler. And toddler wants his chicken nuggies.
I say like right. I look at it like he did. Look, I didn't have a problem with it. I thought it was hilarious. Yeah. Like my child doesn't listen to me all the time.
Exactly.
So I get it.
Niece and nephew all the time. They don't listen.
He just wanted to eat frogs. There's something wrong with that. He loves frogs. He wants his
chicken.
Dude, he was tearing them up, dude. I was dying. Like I get it. It was an endangered species. People are upset. It's a show, guys. It's fine.
Yeah. Who cares?
So there's a question about where this takes place in the timeline. Now, correct me if I'm wrong. Obviously, Omega may know, but from what I understand, it takes place after the destruction of the second Death Star.
Yeah, it's
right?
it's after the second Death Star blow. So it's in between episode 3 and episode 3. It's between episodes 6 and 7. Yeah, I'm an idiot.
Okay. All right, there we go. So look, I get it. People are disgusted by Baby Yoda eating the eggs. I will say it's a very interesting choice, like for the director. Did he just teleport? Oh,
yeah. No, I'm good. I'm good.
So, it's a very interesting choice for the director to go in that direction with the child, because everybody seems to love that character. Mm-hmm. I think it was meant to be charmingly cute, but it came across a little morbid and gross.
Yeah, it was a bit morbid and gross. It's like got to remember, this is a toddler.
But I think the part that made it so weird is that she was talking about how her species is in danger and they had to like get these eggs fertilized because she didn't want to be like the end of her race, whatever. Anyway, it sounded like this horrible story of like refugees moving across space, and
it's like
have Baby Yoda eating the eggs. The truth of the matter is, like, I like that the show is being scripted like something that would really happen. Like, we can't perceive him to be this benevolent character. We don't even know what he's going to do at the end. Like, we have no idea.
Yeah, so our only reference is Yoda, who's like over 900 years old.
Yeah. Let's see here. We're gonna get into. I know we got a couple super chats. We will get into those in just a second. So it doesn't matter if it was the end of species, race, whatever. It was meant to be this like situation where we're supposed to feel for her, like doing this for her life and the life of her family. So having Baby Yoda eating her offspring probably didn't sit very well with everybody.
I think he ate like 5 of them total.
Oh, that's what we saw.
Yeah, I mean, it could have been more.
We don't know how many he ate off screen. Yeah. He was chomping. Okay.
So let's talk about. I want to talk about these creatures for a second, because this was probably one of the most terrifying things that I've seen.
So cool though. Yeah, I think I saw in chat they said that it was from
Rebel.
Yeah.
Which I've seen like maybe 2 episodes of Rebel, so I'm not that familiar.
Yeah. Well, it says they're from Rebel, but I actually read that there was an article here that says it was confirmed to be a new species. So I don't know if there's a conflict of.
There's probably something else similar to Rebels, and everyone kind of thought they were from that.
Look, I've always said I am probably the most popcorn Star Wars fan you could ever find. I just want to be entertained. So if it comes to lore and characters and anything like that, I am just going to bow back and say, you know what? If you're,
I'm kind of at a middle ground.
I'm more of a Star Trek person. If you want to ask me Star Trek questions, I could probably give you bigger answers. But Star Wars, not so much.
I'm in the middle ground. I was still facts. It's a bad movie. I'm like, yeah, I enjoyed it, but I won't watch it again.
Yeah. But I think the design of these were frightening. So first, when we were in the hot spring scene, I was like, those look like alien eggs.
They did, right? As soon as he went over there, I'm like, oh no, don't do it.
Yeah, it was like those are like alien eggs. Are they going to actually be creatures? Because I was like, and when he went over and he ate one, I was like, oh, they're like little. I was like, are they actually like aliens? Like, is that what they are? Are they face huggers? I knew they weren't, but I'm just thinking like in my mind, is that all it was?
I know. I'm like, yeah, it was so cool.
And then we get these like big, medium sized like spiders, which are already terrifying. And then we get like, Jurassic Park spider coming after them on this planet or whatever. And I was like, oh wow, like they went all in with this. And honestly, when they were in the ship trying to get away from them, like they're not getting out of this. This is the last episode of The Mandalorian, end of the season, right here.
Right.
But I just loved it. And these were some of the coolest creatures I think we've seen on the series so far. Oh, yeah. I actually think these were cooler than the Crate Dragon, which
because you don't see too many CGI monsters with more than 2 legs. Like even with Game of Thrones, those wyvern, I'm not calling them dragons, they were wyverns. Those were wyverns. It's like I was just looking at those like, you mofos just did not want to animate an extra set of limbs.
Essentially.
Yeah. No, I really enjoyed the design. I think they were creepy enough where I honestly, very rarely do I look at something anymore and I go, oh, that's super creepy. Like it takes a lot to really, we've seen so much in terms of special effects.
I'm sure it was ILM, and ILM is just godlike.
Yeah, that part of the episode, I know, first of all, we know Mando and the Baby Yoda we know they were going to be okay, right? That's generally plot armor for most shows like this.
Right.
But I was absolutely terrified for the eggs.
Oh yeah.
And for the frog. I mean, like, you don't know what's going to happen. And they did a good job of keeping you on your
faster than him. I was like, okay, nah, she's all right.
Honestly, like very few shows, like I give a lot of shows a lot of heat, in my opinion, well deserved, and other people's maybe not.
Yeah.
I like these 2 episodes, filler or not. I enjoyed both of them, and I cannot wait for the next one tomorrow.
It's really difficult for me because I know how nitpicky I am about comic book stuff. So for me, it's painful sometimes to see how awful things are. So it's like, from my standpoint, as a casual viewer of Star Wars, they're pretty good. I like them.
Yeah. So if anyone is a complete Star Wars fanatic and
like
there's stuff about
universe, like everything, comic books, all the
grognard.
Yeah.
Right. If there is, inconsistencies or there's problems with it, hey, I won't disagree with you. But for me, watching it the way that I'm watching it, I tend to enjoy it quite a bit.
Yeah. So overall, I think that's a good place to sort of wrap all this up and give our final thoughts on this episode. I really, I'm enjoying Mandalorian. I think the second episode was fun. The frog lady was hilarious.
Yeah. Pulls out that Derringer at the last second.
So I really did enjoy it, and I can't, Mandalorian is one of the things where if that was not on Disney Plus, I would not be paying for that.
That's the only reason I even got Disney Plus is the Mandalorian. I could care less about anything else.
I would give season 2, episode 1 an 8, and I would give season 2, episode 2 an 8. I think they both deserve 8s. They're well above average. They're just not perfect, but they're very, very watchable.
What about you, Omega?
I give season 1. Yeah, I give season 1 a solid 8. I would give season 2 a solid 7. Okay. I mean, I think I like action and all that, so it just wasn't.
Yeah, not a lot happened.
We're gonna get there. I think we're gonna get some pretty action.
It was some action, but it wasn't.
Again, first season was very slow until like episode 7, I think 6, 7.
So like I'm gonna clear out some of these super chats, and then we're gonna talk a bit about Star Wars films. Not long. We're just going to talk about our thoughts on the films themselves. Gary Gaman with the 1-9 super chat. Is the Flash getting delayed later than February? Well, Gary, welcome to the stream. Thank you for your support.
This guy is not coming out.
According to him, there'll be no more Flash ever. No, I don't think it's going to get delayed.
It's done. It's done.
I don't think it's getting delayed. I'm totally paraphrasing his hatred for the film. I don't think it's getting delayed at all. We'll have to wait and see how the filming goes. But thank you for your super chat, Victor here. This is a 1-9 super chat, and he's a Team Eric member. Thank you so much, Victor, for the support. So this is, I'm going to answer this too, but I'm going to let you go first because it was very specific to you.
Yeah, I saw that.
Omega, best and worst Star Wars movies. And this is actually perfect because I want to talk about the films. So let's do this, and then
let's do this. But just remember, Omega,
number 1 and the worst. So
this is going to be on the internet forever.
I know.
It's never going away. The chat is going to remember this. The comments will remember this. There will be tweets of this 2 or 3 3 years from now when they quote what you say.
Okay.
So
I'm prepared.
you better get this. You better get it right. That's all I'm saying.
Best Jedi. Return of the Jedi is the best Star Wars movie.
Oh.
Worse. Episode 8. Worse was I don't even remember what the heck its subtitle was. Episode 8, it was garbage. I didn't even.
8 worse than 9?
I didn't even see 9, so I can't really judge it. I didn't even bother. I didn't even, after 8. I was like,
no, that's fair. That's
is,
fair.
Is
that's
it 9
fair.
on Disney Plus?
Probably.
Yeah.
I don't care.
It is.
You should watch it for
I can understand
scientific
that.
reasons. You should watch it.
I understand that.
For science and research.
Yeah.
I understand that. I get. So here's the thing. I agree with Jedi.
Okay.
But see, for me, I would say 9's the worst.
Empire is a very close second. I do love Empire.
I would agree.
Jedi just edges out just a little bit.
If it wasn't for these last 3 films, the first 3 would have been a shoe-in, in my opinion, to be like, these are the worst films. These last 3 were so well.
I even like episode 2. Everyone hates episode 2. I liked episode 2. I
like
8,
Darth Maul from that trilogy. Yeah. Well, no, I like Grievous. Okay, you know what? I'm not gonna hate on it as much. It's not that bad. Anyhow, I'll sit back.
So did you answer? You said that Jedi you agree with, but which one did you say was your worst? Cyber?
9. 9.
Yeah, because I didn't see 9, so I can't really judge. I can't really be fair to judge. I didn't even see it. Didn't even care.
So I'm actually going to be. I think I'm going to be a little
out.
bit controversial here. I think I'm going to because I'm not. None of my choices are either of your choices actually. So I will say it's tough for me because I think Empire for a long time was my favorite Star Wars movie. I mean,
that's a really good film. That's a really good film.
But nostalgia aside, I really loved Rogue One. I really loved Rogue One.
Rogue One was a good movie too. You know what?
I don't know if it classifies as a quote unquote. I mean, it is a Star Wars movie, but it's
if it's in the theater, it's fair game.
I loved Rogue One. I loved it, and the weird thing was it doesn't really have any Jedi stuff in it, but I really loved it.
I mean, I like Jedi now, but actually, my favorite stuff is just with the bounty hunters.
I would say Rogue One for me was an unexpected bliss.
Yes,
because I thought it was going to suck.
Oh yeah,
because it was an unnecessary film, and it was explaining something that didn't really need explaining. But they did such a fantastic job.
If we take that out, controversy aside, because I'm not ready to slam dunk that as my favorite. I would say Empire Strikes Back is probably my favorite.
I'd agree. Okay.
And outside of all the controversy with the 3 newest movies, because I don't think they were the best of the films, I would actually not mind if they were on TV or something in the background. The Star Wars movie that I will always turn off, I will never, ever watch, even if I'm going back and I'm watching on a watch back. That will never, ever, ever be on my playlist of any Star Wars movies is the very first prequel, The Phantom Menace.
Phantom Menace.
That's what I'm saying.
Hate that movie. And I mean,
I ain't like it either.
Everything about it, the focus on such a young character, the whole pod racing thing, Jar Jar Binks, everything about that movie.
Pod racing was cool. I give them that. Pod racing was cool.
It just wasn't a bad movie though. Like it didn't. I did not like that movie.
Yeah, it was just boring. I don't hate it. It was just boring. It was like, meh.
Yeah,
Darth Maul is the only reason.
The coolest thing.
And then they had to retcon him surviving.
Yeah,
I can't.
He was killed so bad.
It's like, oh shit,
that movie had so many missed opportunities in it for great things, and it just never really got to that point. And the other prequels are fine. I don't mind watching the other 2. They're not great, but they're not as bad as Phantom Menace.
I actually like episode 3.
I would actually say Attack of the Clones is the best of those 3.
Yeah, I actually like I say a lot of people hate episode 2. I liked episode 2. Right. It wasn't the greatest, but I liked it.
Yeah.
In my opinion, you could use any of the first 3 as the worst films until the last 3 came out, and then at that point, there's no debate. They're bad. They're badly written.
Episode 8 had one cool scene, and that was they called the Holdo maneuver, which they just completely launched that capital ship into that dreadnought, which completely and totally breaks all sorts of rules throughout the entire canon, but who cares?
Yeah. So I'll say this. The only thing the 3 new movies have going for it is spectacle.
Yeah.
Like they're just
special effects were good. That's about it.
There's so many problems with the newer movies. People are talking about Solo. I didn't really have an issue. Like Solo was like an Indiana Jones movie to me. It wasn't like if you.
It
love
wasn't bad, but it wasn't memorable for me.
I will say this. This falls into that category of if you're a huge fan of something, it's probably going to mean more to you than it does to me, because I didn't have a problem with Solo, not because I didn't like Solo as a character, but there's some people that that's like the favorite character. And I could totally understand if you don't like it for that reason. And you feel like they did something wrong with it, because that's one of the reasons I have such trouble with Wolverine in the X-Men films, because he was my favorite character going into those movies. And those movies literally made me hate that character. So I totally get it. Totally get it.
Hey, does the film Logan hold up?
Someone in the chat mentioned Force Awakens was great. I'm like, it had a good start until 8 completely dropped the ball.
The Force Awakens used the blueprint from the original film, so I mean, it's like it wasn't a complete copy, but it was definitely a blueprint.
Yeah, which was a shame, because Starkiller Base was cool, but it's just Death Star times 3.
Yeah, absolutely. We had a couple super chats here. Gary with 199. No, I'm not. Of course, I'm not mad at you, Gary.
Yes, we are.
I'm not mad. You support the channel all the time. You're awesome. Thank you so much, Gary. I appreciate it. Tom here with a $2 super chat. Hashtag bring back doesn't hold up and finish DCEU, MCU. We could totally bring it back now. I mean, it's totally possible to bring it back. The only reason that it ever became an issue was work stuff. Like, it was just hard to get it.
Our schedules did not mesh for the last film we watched. It was Batman Begins. We haven't done that yet.
Yeah,
and
we could totally do that. And actually, we could get Omega to join us if you would like. And talk about them, especially in movies that you like. Like, you don't have to join us for movies that you don't want to talk about, but totally you can join us for the ones that you.
Oh, if it's ones I don't want to talk about, I will still talk about.
Oh, well, I'm sure you will.
And crap.
A Mizanator with a $2 super chat. Your own story for a new Flash season. So I would say, I would like to see a season of The Flash where they focus on the science of his powers, because I think that the show has gotten away from that. It's become sort of this, they need him to be as fast as they need him to be, or as slow as they need him to be. And I think the first 2 seasons, they focused more on the science of his powers. And with the introduction of the Speed Force in a big way, they kind of got away from that. So I would love to see a season where we dive into like how his powers function and new abilities. Show him doing things with his speed other than just running fast. I would love to see something like that. And stay away from skiing like you're running. Not do that.
I was just about to mention that.
So
I would say I would 100% agree with a Flash season where they kind of go back to the basics, where a lot of times Barry is not the smartest person in the room. And it's like, he's actually very intelligent. Yeah. And I want them to get back to that, where he's actually like, doing
there's been little bits of it, but it hasn't really totally gone back or whatever. Introverted Unicorn here. What happened to the Sherlock Holmes stuff on screen? That disappeared after season 1. Like, we never really got it again after season 1. And I wish they would have done that.
And that grabbed me. We won't get into it.
I wish they made all the rogues team up in the Flash, but Captain Cold is done. We could still see a rogue team up. That could still happen. Jordan here. This is interesting. Ren was the best part of the new movies. Thoughts on that?
I'll say later on, like another one of the other cool parts where he was fighting Luke Skywalker, but when at the end of that, it just goes straight to crap. I mean, that was cool. It's like later on, Ren was started to be kind of cool, but I don't know.
Hey, here's the thing: advertising my OnlyFans page.
Here's the thing, right? With those, I won't necessarily disagree that Ren was the best part. However, if you're the best part of a bad series, how good were you?
Yeah,
like there were so many wasted opportunities with these characters. They could have been, I'm talking iconic, right?
Darth Maul was iconic, and he spent like less time on camera than most of these.
Darth Maul, exactly. Boba Fett, Darth Vader, those characters had presence to the point where people knew who they were.
And they didn't
not as a Star Wars fan.
Yeah.
Right. Or I mean, not only that, but not as a Star Wars fan, right? Like, people would still see that and recognize that. Kylo Ren with the mask on, sure. The character, no, honestly, I don't think any of that stuff's memorable from those.
You know,
not in a good way.
Was really memorable from the sequel series? TR-8R, the guy with the spinny thing called Finn Trader.
Yeah, Trader.
Yeah. Random stormtrooper more memorable than half the cast.
Yeah, That's
just
true.
facts.
We're going to take one more question, and then we're going to move on to the next topic. This is Victor D. Chinchilla with a 199 super chat. Eric, are you making any more Does It Hold Up? Okay, let us know in the chat. Do you guys want to see more of those videos? I mean, we can totally do it. I think we're probably going to have a discussion about that, but just be supportive. Let us know in the chat.
Yeah.
We would totally go back and do those.
If you want to see in the chat, yeah, a lot of people want it.
Yeah. So I'm going to play my video giving a shout out to Team Eric members. You guys are awesome. Remember, if you have signed up this week at any point, you're not going to be in the video. You have to wait till next week. So stay signed up for another week and you'll be in the next one of these. So we're going to do a shout out to them, and then we're going to come back and we're going to talk about our last couple of topics. Here we go. That's it. That audio for some reason doesn't fade. I have to fix that. It's been like that for the last week now. I'm not sure if it's the upload or what it is, but something's not working for that. All right, so next topic, guys. We're going to talk about the release date for a show that we've been talking about for a while now, and that is WandaVision, the first series from the MCU that is going to be on Disney Plus. And we have waited forever for these shows. Like, I feel
since the announcement of Disney Plus, I bought Disney Plus for this.
Like, I'm still kind of even in the dark exactly what is it going to be about, because it seems so.
It's weird.
Did you not watch the trailer?
It is weird. The trailer. You have to watch the trailer.
I still don't know what it's really about. It's like, well, you just
tells you everything.
So it was supposed to come out this year, but of course it got pushed back to January 15th. I suspect that's the final push. I think that is actually when I feel like this is actually when it's going to come out.
I agree.
So this series is supposed to be really important to the next phase of Marvel films. And it's going to set up the idea of some of her abilities, which are the reality warping and things like that, things that we've been waiting for this character to have for a very long time. What are your thoughts? And also they've said that at least some of these episodes, and this, I had to pause when I read this, were filmed in front of a live studio audience. I'm going to assume they mean the portions of the episode that are in like the house are going to be like a sitcom, because there are some scenes that are outside and stuff. I don't think I think those are separate things. I think it's being purposely misleading. Like, they're saying that, but I don't think that's the way it's going to be 100%. But what are your thoughts on that? Like, going like a sitcom angle with portions of this based on what we've seen so far. Does that make you feel good about it? Does it make you a little bit worried? What are your thoughts on it? Either one of you guys.
I'm just curious to see exactly what's it going to be, because it, like, okay, 2 Marvel characters, and this is set up like Married with Children or like Full House or something. Like, okay, I'm interested. I have no idea what's going on. So
I agree. We don't really know what's happening on the show, and I think that's all on purpose, because here's the thing. There's only 6 episodes. Okay.
Oh, wow.
So if they give anything away and more than what the trailer that they showed, I feel like it'll give a lot of the show away. Them doing what they're doing in terms of pushing it, it's going to like directly coincide with Doctor Strange. That's obviously how Vision's going to come into play. But I'm just super curious on what they're going to do with it, and not in a bad way, just in a how. And I think that Scarlet Witch is one of those characters in the MCU, even though she debuted in such a weird fashion where she was kind of a villainous character, to where she is now. That character has had massive growth, and in a good way, because she just went to a full-on, lovable character. And I can't wait for this series. I think it's going to be great, and the whole multiverse part of it, I hope it doesn't make it to where you have to see this to understand what's happening in Doctor Strange, or if it just helps explain it.
Actually, I think they're saying that this is going to be like as if it were another movie. Like these are going to be like seasons are going to be like a separate movie. So, I mean, it may connect in a way that you're not going to get it totally. Because I think she's going to show up in Doctor Strange with some change to her powers that it's probably not going to be explained unless you watch the series, if I had to guess.
Yeah, I think she's such a cool character in the MCU. I'm super excited for the series. I think Vision. Here's the thing with Vision. I thought Vision was absolutely amazing in the MCU, and he just got punished in Infinity War. He didn't win a single fight in Infinity War. He just got
Well, you have to
ruined.
remember in the comics, Vision comes back as this completely white ghost-like character after a while.
Yeah, and I thought, the Easter egg in Infinity War where he was all colorless, that maybe that was a sign of him to come.
Yeah.
But I think with Tony being gone and there's no more Mind Stone, I mean, this one, in this picture alone, he's got the Mind Stone. So
But I think
I'm so confused.
So you want to hear my thoughts on the whole Vision thing? I think we're going to see her ability to bring people back from death by warping reality. That's what I think we're going to get at. And I think we're only going to get a fraction of it in her mind. And it's quite possible that the only person, the one that she loves the most, is the only one that she could possibly bring back. Because here's the thing, Vision wasn't a human. So like bringing him back would not be weird because he's not technically a dead person. You know what I mean? Whereas bringing back someone like Tony Stark or something like that would be a bit weird. But I think bringing Vision back wouldn't be quite as strange, honestly. And that would make him, I don't know, different from what he was before. He wouldn't be like this vibranium created character. He'd be like a complete magical character or reality warp character or something like that. I could see that. I don't know if I'd agree with it, but I really love Vision. And I don't think he ever had the opportunity to shine like she did. I think she's absolutely had time to shine. Vision just really didn't have that opportunity in the movies, I don't think.
Yeah.
He was really powerful. Like, super powerful. If it weren't for the Black Order wrecking shop on him, he would have been one of those powerful heroes on Earth. He got completely blindsided. And yeah, I mean, I feel like, I don't know. Maybe that's a whole other thing, but I feel like we're going to see some reality warping stuff happening. That's what I think.
I hope so. I think each episode is going to be a standalone episode, but they're all going to be very telling and how she uses her abilities. And I'm curious. I don't know, man. I don't know what they're going to do. I understand why they pushed it back. I know a lot of people are mad they pushed it back. I understand why. Mandalorian is back, and people were complaining there's not enough content on Disney Plus. If they put all their content on there right now, there's not going to be nothing again for God knows how long. So I get why they pushed it back. It just sucks because I really am looking forward to this one, but I'm enjoying Mandalorian, so it's okay.
Okay, well, we'll take a step away from that until we know more. I feel like we won't get much more information. We're going to get some information, but not a ton. We had a question here that said, who's your favorite MCU character? Well, I have two that I really, really like. What about you guys? Do you have one specific one that you like more than others?
Frat Boy Hulk from Thor Ragnarok.
That's your favorite one?
Yes.
Literally? Okay.
I mean, for me, it's Iron Man. It's Tony Stark. That was the first comic I ever collected. So seeing him on the MCU stage and setting what he did, it's Stark. But if I had to choose another one, to me, I love Bucky. I think that character is just great.
I was going to say Winter Soldier. Winter Soldier is my number one favorite character. Next to that, close second to that, almost too hard to pick would be Wanda, Scarlet Witch. I think she's my close second because I love it whenever she's faced off against Thanos. He literally was like, okay, I got to do something else. Like,
she would have taken him out. I mean, there's other people that could have too.
She held him back and destroyed Vision's stone at the same time.
Oh, yeah.
Keep that in mind. And she's the one that forced him to, what is it, rain blood or whatever it was, rain pain.
Yeah, rain fire.
Yeah, I mean, totally. You know, like, I love her. I think she's amazing. So for me,
actually, I kind of have three. It would be Frat Boy Hulk, Star-Lord, and Spider-Man.
Yeah.
See, I would say Star-Lord too, but in my opinion, from film to film, his character changed so drastically. Like,
he became so unlikable by the time we got to Endgame.
Yeah, I didn't like him after that. And then after that, he was just kind of like a side character. And I know that's hard to do in a film with millions of characters, but when he showed up, I wasn't like, oh, yes, Star-Lord's here. I think
his storyline regarding his love for Gamora and what happened with Thanos was ridiculous. It was so stupid. I know people have defended it and said, oh, well, was acting out of pure emotion, and maybe, but it's the whole universe. Like, I feel like he's not that stupid. but whatever. I mean, it's
Sure, you
fine.
guys still like Star-Lord.
I like him.
There's nothing
Just think
wrong
that
with
his
him. I just think they did him
character
dirty.
degraded.
They did him dirty at the
Yeah.
end.
Yeah, I
I
get
don't think that his character evolved in a positive way, in my opinion.
Right.
that. I get that.
So Quindlin here with the 4.9 super chat, just supporting. Thank you so much. I've only seen the Christian hates his Star Wars. Okay, makes sense. And yeah, so I'm happy WandaVision is coming out, but where's Falcon and the Winter Soldier?
Yes, that's what I'm really interested in.
I really want to see Falcon in his Captain America getup. Like I really, really want to see that. And U.S. Agent and Winter Soldier in his new costume and I want to see these two characters.
Yeah,
I can't wait to see them
they are
together.
great on screen together. I think
such
this
great
is
chemistry.
a recipe for success if written properly. It's going to be a ground level superhero story, which for any of the chat out there
Tech
that
and
followed
very
me
little
in,
superpowers.
Eric,
Tech and very little superpowers.
some of my favorite TV shows is Arrow, Daredevil. I mean, I love Agents before it got too crazy. I love when they keep it grounded, but they're superheroes. Punisher, shows like that. So I think this one has. I mean, Captain America's films, in my opinion, were the best films in the MCU. Right? Like Civil War,
that
Winter
trilogy,
Soldier.
That trilogy.
That's what I mean. Like they were some of the best films in the MCU, and guess what? It was all ground fighting. I mean, when I mean ground, obviously they were in the air. What I mean is, it's not like special powers like.
Right.
Captain Marvel.
I love all of it. I love the big stuff. I love the grounded stuff. But keep in mind that the Russo brothers' introduction into what the MCU came with Winter Soldier.
But who's writing the TV series?
Oh,
we know?
We'll have to go through and look each one individually. I'm not sure. But
So it's different people.
Yeah,
so,
I think it is.
Depending on the writing and the choreography, it's a recipe for success. And I absolutely, that was like, oh, I'm buying Disney Plus, and here we are, and I'm still like, where's my Captain America? Captain Falcon and Winter Soldier.
We've got like maybe 10 minutes worth of time, so let's jump into these last couple topics. I do want to talk about this for a moment. This won't take very long, but I do want to throw this out because I think it's hilarious. The Monster Hunter movie. Thoughts on this, guys, as gamers? What are your thoughts on this?
Well, so
it's only got 6 monsters according to this article. Only 6.
Here's the thing. Monster Hunter actually has it's not like a rich story, but it has a pretty good story that you can build off of. But the director of this film that constantly wants to put his wife in every leading role of a film he does
it's like I like Mila Jovovich, but come on.
Here's the thing, right? I like Mila Jovovich. I don't have a problem with her. But in my opinion, it needs to fit the role that she's placed in, not just build a role around her. I don't think that's the way that it should be done. The original Resident Evil movie, even though it was...
Here we go, Thomas. Thomas got the question. There you go, Cyber.
Paul W.S. Anderson.
Yeah. So the first Resident Evil movie, even though it was loosely based off the game, did a good job of actually doing a pretty good film. And I was like, you know what? This isn't bad. And then the second one came out. And oh my God, I don't understand where they were going with it. Great franchise according to the numbers of that it made in the theaters, but it's not a good film. And every other movie that he's ever done putting Mila in it has been such a reimagined mess that this film has no shot.
A Tale of Two Cities, Introverted Unicorn, and then Anthony. A Tale of Two Cities there. Look at that.
Movie was great. Movie was trash.
So you don't think this movie has a shot of being good is what you're saying, or no?
There's zero chance. There's zero chance this movie's good. If you're a Monster Hunter game fan, there's zero chance this is good. If you go see this movie and you don't know what it is, I don't know. Maybe you'll like it. But if you're watching this as a video game movie, it's going to be awful. And the first Resident Evil movie wasn't fantastic. It was just a good rendition of a video game movie.
Yeah. So I'll say this for me. I think the visuals look good. I mean, I think it's going to look good, but I think that's it. I don't think there's going to be anything else there, honestly.
Yeah, and monsters got to get taken down by the U.S. military. So, because Americans won't.
Yeah, they're using like full-on weaponry. Like what?
So, one of the biggest mistakes with monster movies like this, when you have large monsters and you have these kinds of things, and it happened with some of the Transformer films, is we don't care about the human characters.
Exactly.
We don't care about these rich stories. This isn't a movie that's going to win a bunch of awards for being a great story. It is a movie about video game stuff. So give us a few humans, give us some really cool sequences with action, and just give us the story from the game. It's not that hard.
I'm gonna tell you
it
this.
really isn't.
They're gonna show Diabolos. They're gonna show Rathalos.
They're going to show the popular ones.
Yeah, they might.
No, you know what? No, you know what? I here's the thing. I'm going out on a limb. They're not going to have all the ones from the game. They're going to have Diabolos and maybe another one. The other
Rathalos.
4 are going to be just for the film.
Mm-hmm.
How much you want to bet? They're not even going to have names.
Where's Rajang? Where's Demon Pickle? Whose name I forgot. You people who play Monster Hunter, you know who Demon Pickle is.
Yeah. I mean, I'm a little bit. I'm worried. I'm a little bit worried that this movie, honestly, is going to come out. It's going to be so. This is one of those times where it's like we are at a point where video game movies are kind of at the precipice of putting out good films, right? They are, but there's just so. Look here, Digimon would be a live action movie. Eric would be a good Agumon. Oh, really, really. The biggest issue with video game movies, and I'm just going to call this out, the part that draws people to video games is the ability to immerse yourself in that world and be interactive with these characters. It is not necessarily the characters and the stories themselves. It is the way it works within the game world. So translating a story to the big screen, trying to make it something that it's not going to work. It just doesn't work.
They're going to try to go for the lowest common denominator, which the lowest common denominator isn't going to care, so it's just going to bomb.
What about
there's
World
very
Warcraft
few
movie,
video
the World of Warcraft movie? Like,
there's very few video game movies that you can look at and say they were great. I know Silent Hill was one of them. The first Mortal Kombat film was decent.
Yeah.
There's very few, and that's mainly part of the reason why they don't want to follow the recipe that they're given. Instead, they want to create their own.
Why would you take them away from what made people want it in the first place? That doesn't seem to make much sense to me. They think that they're bigger than the game. So I think the truth is a lot of filmmakers don't consider video games to be storytelling. They consider them to be
positive they don't.
Yeah, they just consider it just be interactive.
Their ego is
shoot, bang bang, whatever.
Right. Their ego is I want to take this and turn it into what I want to make it, and that's how it works.
They get the rights to write it or direct it or publish or whatever they're going to do, and they never played the game.
Nope.
They go read a summary off Wikipedia and create a film.
YouTube video. They see, okay, it looks like that. They see one YouTube video for 10 minutes in
Angry Birds movie.
Yeah. So the last thing I want to talk about,
I didn't see it
before we go. And this isn't like an official topic, but I just want to bring it up because I'm seeing a lot of stuff going on today. Justin Wong, who we know from back in the days of MVC2, who's now gone on to be known for a lot more than just that game, was tweeting about this. And this ties in directly to what's going on here on Twitch. If you're watching this on Twitch, or if you're watching on YouTube, you may have heard about this or whatever. Twitch seems to be getting hit pretty heavily for, in the DMCA world, and it's affecting a lot of content creators with video games and stuff like that. And I sympathize with Twitch users specifically because if you've never done it before, if you've never had to deal with it on YouTube, it's definitely something that's annoying and frustrating. And Twitch released a article or a blog about it, I guess, that I read that was so tone deaf, so absolutely tone deaf. And, people are saying, there are people that work behind the scenes at Twitch that, that aren't actually actively doing, what the company's doing. They're trying to make changes or whatever. It's just really, really, really tough to sit back and watch because the DMCA, the whole thing was created in 1998. And it's been antiquated for a very long time because technology advances faster than legislation. That's just the way it is. Your legislation is always going to take longer, and it's going to take things to push and make it happen. As people who primarily use Twitch, the two of you both, what is it like over there right now? What are the feelings of most of the creators, and how is it affecting the channels? Like what are you seeing over there in terms of DMCA?
There's two different types of people over on Twitch right now. I fall in the category. Those who want to abide by the rules and those who don't. There are those who are scared, which would fall under a different category. But what I mean is that the moment that the first emails went out, I know what YouTube went through X amount of years ago with the whole copyright system. This is back when my channel was actually monetized. It's not anymore. And I knew that I had to switch from from the music that I was playing in the background to stream beats, which is what I use, which is copyright free music. I feel like where the breakdown is happening is that people think that this is going to go away, and they continue to use copyright music on Twitch. They continue to leave their clips up. They continue to leave their highlights up. They continue to leave their VODs up. All that stuff is going to get them banned. The reason why it's going to get them banned is because Twitch is not fighting for the creator. They are saying if someone says that something's copyrighted, they're just going to take you off. And then it's up to you, the small guy, to fight this claim. I know YouTube gives you an appeal system. Twitch has sort of got one. But
YouTube's is still not great, but it's better than what Twitch has right now.
Over there, what's happening is really unfortunate. There are a lot of live streamers that have cars passing by while they're doing their live stream. And in the background, it's whatever the top 20 song is that's going on. Mm-hmm. The car passes by, they get hit with DMCA. It's not right. However, I don't blame Twitch in terms of the law because it's the law. They're following the law. I blame Twitch because they were so transparent about it before, and now they're transparent about helping people get through it. They're supposed to have coming up a live stream, a Q&A of telling streamers how to get past this. They tweeted today, Twitch support tweeted today, mute the in-game audio for Cyberpunk. When
what
Cyberpunk
in the world?
comes out.
And music is supposed to be like 80, like half the game.
So here's the thing. And I made a long tweet about this, and tomorrow I'm supposed to be doing a podcast for me over at twitch.tv/Syberninja with an S if you want to come
Link in the info box.
Yeah. It's supposed to be me and a special guest over there. We're supposed to talk about topics. This is going to be one of them. But creators create, right? That's what we do. We create. Streamers stream. As long as the franchises that understand the benefits of it, i.e. most gaming franchises, we're going to be okay. However, in 2021, most of the games like, for instance, Cyberpunk and some other games that are coming out are already going to have copyrighted music in it. I play Fortnite over and stream that quite often, and that has copyrighted music in the game. Now, Fortnite gives you the ability to turn copyright music off. It looks a little funny when they do their emotes, but it's a step in the sort of a step in the right direction. What I think is going to happen, because this law needs to be rewritten, but I think what's going to happen is creators are going to find a way around it in terms of stream beats or another copyright-free music. They're going to take games, and I think games are going to start offering copyright-free music, which most game companies don't hit you for it. It's the ones that put the labeled music in there from actual artists that you're going to get hit by. But they're going to start saying, you know what? It's not worth the hassle of getting whatever the top artist is in on our game. We're going to actually go to the artists themselves and have them create original content. If they're, as long as their record label doesn't have a problem with it, and they're just going to create music for the game. I think 2021 is going to be really rough for Twitch. I think it's going to be really rough for content creators who haven't made the switch and deleted their VODs. And I think the ripple effect is going to be big at first. But after that, the record labels are going to suffer the most.
Yeah.
Because artists are not going to get big. Some of the biggest songs you hear out there right now come from TikTok, come from streamers, come from influencers.
Indie artists love that kind of exposure. It's the bigger
I never even heard of WAP until I heard it on a live stream.
So imagine if that all goes away.
Yeah.
Good.
Right? So, but the thing is, right? So then somebody comes to my stream with my 2 million followers when I get there, and they're like, hey, what is he listening to? Oh, it's this indie artist from, Georgia. And then that artist blows up, right? He doesn't need the record label now, right? Yeah. So I think that right now it's rough. And if you're over at Twitch, don't play copyrighted music. If you think the game is going to hit you, mute the audio. Does it suck for the person watching you? Sort of. You know why? Because at first they started watching you for the game. But if they come back again, it's for you.
Yeah.
Don't forget that.
Well, it just also sucks that they tell you to mute game music. It's like, as a creator, you have to do a playthrough and lose the experience of the game because they don't have a way to handle it.
If you're playing Cyberpunk, the immersion is going to be the music in the background.
Yeah. They made a few songs specifically for the game, but it also got some actual artists to do music for the game. So I don't know if that's really going to be.
I will say this:
issue,
replace that before the game comes out. Replace it or give an option for non-copyrighted.
Don't
That's what I was ready to say.
Don't delay it any longer. Just do a patch later on. I want my game.
Well, they could patch it later. It's not hard on PC. It's actually very easy. For the consoles, it might not be. But just like Fortnite does, mute copyrighted audio and just replace it with a generic song. It can even be the same song.
It could be. You could pick another song in your soundtrack and just make it play again.
Yeah. Does it hurt the experience of the person playing the game? Yeah, a little bit. It does. And I feel for it in Fortnite. I have to make the choice when they're doing concerts that they're promoting for artists I can't go see and stream because I'm going to get banned. So yeah, it sucks. But we're still here.
Yeah. I'm going to say this. It's going to take a huge amount of large influencers and creators and the actual companies themselves to make any change to this law. It's not going to happen on the small side.
Twitch and YouTube need to step up.
YouTubers have been fighting it for years. You cannot win this battle without the support of a large company. Amazon and Google, get on board with this. Do something about it.
Yeah. I was going
to say we're going to talk about this right here, and then we'll wrap it up.
I took up all the time, chat, and I'm not sorry.
It's just that it's like, granted, he had a point because you're not really supposed to stream it because the when you buy the game, it's for you. But especially a lot of games actually blew up. Fall Guy, Phasmophobia, Last of Us, Among Us, all
Fortnite,
Fortnite, all blew up because of streamers. There's so many games I bought because of streamers, and a lot of game developers and publishers know this. But we get people like Sega Atlas, who pretty much wanted people to not stream Persona 5 past a certain point in the game.
Yeah,
because of spoilers. But that's because the people who run Sega are freaking dinosaurs. Don't get me started on Sega. But it's like, yeah, technically you're not supposed to be streaming it, and you're streaming at the mercy of the developers. But
actually, this goes back to it goes back to antiquated copyright laws.
Exactly.
That's really what it is. The laws just have not adjusted with technology, and that's the reality of it. Anyway, guys, I think that's where we're going to wrap this up. We're not going to do the whole outro spiel because we've done it like every week, but we will give you guys a chance to talk for a moment if you want to about your channels. Syberninja and Omega, all their info is in the info box. Links for everything they have. Like, we already know what you guys do now at this point. If you've been to the show, what are your plans? Anything this weekend we should look out for you, Cyber, or anything you're going to be doing?
Yeah. Again, next week, I believe, is the Fortnite's, could be Fortnite's finale. If it's not next week, it is the week after. I'm just going to reiterate to anyone who's watching this on playback for the first time, I will be streaming that event over there. It is Marvel related. Galactus is coming to the island. We don't know what's going to happen. If you don't like Fortnite, hey, I get it. But if you like Marvel, this is something you don't want to miss. If there's another influencer, streamer, content creator, whatever you want to call us, if there's one of them, just go watch it. Don't miss this. It's going to be great. As far as tomorrow goes, I am supposed to be streaming tomorrow with a special guest to do a podcast where we're going to talk about DMCA as well as a lot more video game heavy content. I don't have the time yet. Unfortunately, we got to work that out. He actually tried to call me while this stream was going. So we're going to work that out. If you follow me over on Twitter, you'll get the latest information on that. And if you follow me over at Twitch, you'll just get the notication when I go live.
Okay. And Omega, same stuff. DeviantArt. Check out.
Yeah, I kind of got another picture idea in mind. I don't know. It's, you know how artists are. You make stuff when you feel like it. Also, I do stream on Twitch very sporadically. I did stream a little bit of the Doom Eternal DLC. I need to finish that. That DLC is hard.
So, all right. So there you go. And all those links are going to be in the info box. The DLC is hard on Doom Eternal. Make sure you check out all their content there. If you're watching me over on Twitch and you're not following me on Twitter, hit me up at DJ Eric and find me on YouTube at Eric's Reloaded. It should be I mean, you should know, but just in case you don't know, there we go. That's pretty much it, guys. Thank you so much for joining us for another week of the podcast. We'll come at you next week with more topics. We're going to talk about Mandalorian again next week, and maybe some Star Trek stuff because Omega's trying to get caught up on Discovery. I know Cyberninja's not, but we might drop into a little bit of
I will actually be quiet on that one, so you guys might be thankful for that. I will just sit back and just listen.
Yeah.
I'll be
Thank
part
you guys
of the,
so much
part of the chat.
So much for the support. I really appreciate it, and we will catch up with you later on. Have a good night.
Later.